So hi everyone, welcome to our first kitchen conversation. So today I'm Louise and this is Judy Davie, the food coach.
Hello Louise, hello.
Hello, and we're going to run a series of conversations around nutrition focusing on the health of perimenopausal and menopausal women. So, which is, we know that nutrition and weight and metabolism and health is all really important in middle age. So we'll be touching on topics that make a meaningful change and help women eat better. So today we'll be talking about vegetables.
Great place to start, Louise.
Yeah, it was your choice, Judy.
Yeah, well, I always think when you nail the vegetables, then you're almost halfway there when it comes to healthy eating.
Well,
Yeah,
that's good to know.
I'd say.
That's good to know. So we're going to talk about why we need to eat vegetables.
Yes.
How many vegetables or how much is vegetables?
Vegetables,
how
veggies.
many vegetables we should be eating and how to get them into our daily diet today.
Sure. Yes.
But before we start, I did want to ask you, so Judy is a renowned author and
Sure about renowned, but anyway,
I'll
go with renowned.
I think you are. And so you have written this fabulous book, which is a little bit about lifestyle and diet, but also recipes based on seasonal produce. So you've called this the greengrocer's diet. So
yes, I did.
Why did you call it that?
Well, it is actually a diet book, that one, and I resisted writing one for a very, very long time. But it's a greengrocer's diet because I think the greengrocers are the health food stores in the country. We have to eat fresh produce, we have to eat fresh vegetables, some fruit, but not so much, if we want to have good health. It's just an essential. And if you want to lose some weight, if you're menopausal, postmenopausal, premenopausal, and you're having weight creep, the best way to do that is to nail your vegetables on a daily basis.
Well, why is that?
Because, many reasons. You've got, firstly, you get more bang for your bite, so to speak. So with vegetables, there is a lot more nutrients typically. There is a lot more nutrients for far less calories for energy. So if you do want to lose some weight, you want to eat a amount so you feel satisfied, vegetables can help you do that. You can feel full with them. They are full of fiber, which is extremely important for our digestive health, for cleaning out toxins in the body, and particularly for our gut health. So vegetables, the fiber in vegetables and other fibrous foods helps to feed our gut health, and we now know that there's a brain-gut connection, so it also helps us to feel better as well. Nutrients, vitamins, minerals, folate, the gamut for so many reasons. And individual vegetables have got individual and collective nutrients which can help in certain areas as well. So we can talk about that if you want to. Vitamin C for our skin, for our gut, for our bowels, for the list goes on.
Vitamin A for our vision.
Vitamin A for our vision, vitamin C for our skin,
zinc
vitamin
for
C
our
for
hair.
our zinc for our hair. Although you can get more zinc from animal foods, really. But we can get iron from our green leafy vegetables. We get vitamin K from the green leafy vegetables, which is really good for the blood. I should be looking on here. Bright coloured beetroot for phytochemicals, anthocyanins, which are really powerful antioxidants that can help to fight disease. Mushrooms, you can actually get vitamin D from mushrooms.
You were telling me about this before. Tell me the magic of a mushroom.
Well, we all know living in Australia that vitamin D is a nutrient that we need, and we know that we're not getting enough because mostly we're slapping and keeping out of the sun, which we need to protect our skin. But if you take a mushroom or a few mushrooms, put them in the sunlight for about 20 minutes, and they will make vitamin D that we then can eat when we absorb when we eat them. So pretty cool. You used to be able to buy vitamin D mushrooms, but I haven't seen them recently. But here, broccoli is such a good, one of the cruciferous vegetables. There's kale, cabbage, Brussels sprouts, cauliflower. These are so full of fiber. Raw broccoli can help to protect you against colon cancer, and cook it, and it does a whole raft of other things. So, as I say, it's a very inexpensive way of getting a gamut of nutrients into your body.
Okay, so if we run just down the benefits of vegetables, heaps of nutrients,
Heaps of nutrients.
not so many calories.
Less, yeah.
Less calories,
Yeah.
and we'll talk about the difference between starchy vegetables and leafy
Yeah.
vegetables and so forth. Vegetables with fat, lots of fibre,
Mm-hmm.
which is very important for
Yeah.
our gut. Fibre also acts to feed our microbiome.
Yeah, really important.
Yep. And they're the main things, I guess.
Well, I think
They could be tasty.
oh, well, they're definitely tasty. I'm definitely tasty. I think we need to talk, we need to think a lot more about how it affects our mental health as well. That does speak to the gut, but when your digestive system is good, when your gut health is good, you tend to feel a lot better as well.
Mm-hmm. Okay. So how much vegetable should we be having in a day?
In a day.
Yeah.
Well, I think we've all heard about the 5 serves of veggies a day. I think that needs to be the line in the sand. More, go for it, but not less. Aim to have 5 serves of vegetables a day, and if you make that a rule, then and you lock them in before you eat anything else, then you stand yourself in good stead for good health.
Okay. So next question: what is a serve of vegetable? So this is what we've got our little. I've raided the fridge. Unfortunately, there were some vegetables didn't look too sad in there. So what have we got?
I'm really impressed you had this array of vegetables.
I know,
because
I'm a healthy mum.
yeah, well, it's also really important to have a whole variety of vegetables as well. That's really, they say eat the rainbow. So, but back to the whole what's in a serve. So the general rule is if it's raw, in the case of these green leafy, and they're not too bad looking.
Thank you.
They look quite perky. A cup of green leafy vegetables is considered to be a serve. Half a cup of broccoli is a serve.
Half cup measure here that it's like.
Yeah, well, there we go.
If
We'll
I
just
cut them up.
stuff that in there.
More that bit of cut.
That's a serve.
But I did my homework and I did measure them out because you also said roughly 70 grams of a dense vegetable. Is that
70,
right?
around about 75. And I should say, Louise, it doesn't really matter for these green leafy ones and for all these light ones. The vegetables that are not particularly starchy, it doesn't really matter if you go up to 100 and 120 because they've got nutrients, they don't have a lot of energy or calories. And I know this is not all about calories and energy and weight loss, but it's if you can eat that, go for it, doesn't matter. 2 serves of that. So roughly 3 mushrooms would be considered to be a serve.
Okay.
That's about 80 grams. But the general rule is 75 grams, or when it comes to these really light guys, a whole cup. Or a handful.
Okay. And so we've got a handful of cherry tomatoes.
Handful of cherry
that sort
tomatoes.
That sort of thing.
Yep. But you can see, when I we'll talk about that.
We'll talk about it.
So say for example you were going out for lunch, or you're just picking up a casual lunch, and you thought you'd just get a sandwich. If you asked for a salad sandwich, say cheese and salad sandwich, it's pretty difficult to get that number of tomatoes into your salad sandwich.
Yeah, they're rolling everywhere.
Yeah, it's pretty difficult to get a cup of
Yeah.
greens into that salad sandwich. You'd be lucky to get 3 greens. So the strategy behind getting a whole, say, three serves of vegetables at lunchtime would be to buy the salad and maybe get the roll or the piece of bread or the cracker and have that on the side. So that's just a little bit of
a switch.
A bit of a switch in thinking.
It is tricky though, isn't it? Because often the sandwich is very convenient.
Very.
Especially if you're buying it out on the run. And salads can be quite expensive. But I bought a salad the other day, which was mostly rice. Okay, so it was very starchy. It was hot smoked salmon and a bit of cheese and some herbs and brown rice, beautiful salad dressing, not much vegetable.
Yeah.
So I actually chucked a handful of baby spinach, a big handful of baby spinach into the salad.
Perfect.
So, and a bit of cucumber, and then we really boosted up that.
And that took no time at all.
And it also made it last two serves rather than one, but yeah.
And sometimes if you buy these bags of salads, greens in the supermarket now, they're already even washed, so you just pull out a handful and chuck it in. But
So these are roughly a serve, half a zucchini, half cucumber, cup of leafy green stuff, half a cup of more dense vegetables.
Yeah.
These are a serve. What about starchy vegetables? So What about these? These are also vegetables, but they're slightly different, aren't they?
Yeah, well, in my thinking and when I'm coaching people, I actually categorize these guys, not the pumpkin actually.
Okay.
Because pumpkin is, there's a lot of water in pumpkin, so when you cook that, it comes down to, shrivels down to a much smaller size. I would put that over here in the vegetable. These guys here I would consider to be carbohydrates, really good for you, still full of nutrients, still full of fibre. But with these guys, while I say, a serve is a cup or a serve is half a cup or 75 grams, know it, see it, clock it,
Doesn't
but
matter.
then don't worry about it.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter. If you go over that, that's, I don't know, that's happy days in my world, that's fine. But these, no, you don't make up your 5 serves of vegetables with these starchy vegetables.
Could they be one serve?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
So here we've got, this would be, that's half a medium-sized potato. That would be considered to be a serve. When you weigh it, it's 75 grams. Same with sweet potato, a dense carbohydrate-rich vegetable. That would be considered to be a serve. If you have no problems whatsoever with your weight, don't worry about it.
Yeah,
have
because
2
there's
or
lots of
3.
nutrients in it.
There's
isn't there?
lots of nutrients. This is still good food, and I really don't want anyone to be demonising a vegetable out
But what
there.
you're saying is 5 serves of hot chips is probably not getting your best use of your 5
It's
serves
definitely,
of veg
it's definitely not. We go back to the rainbow colour. We go back to this broad
Lots of
range of
leafy greens.
nutrients, different colours, lots of antioxidants, lots of fibre. Go back to that way of thinking. This pick the pool of this, and just eat these in moderation. And if you don't have a problem with your weight, eat more. But when you talk about chips, very often the problem is the quality of the fat that you're cooking the chips with.
Yeah.
So that's another conversation for another time.
Totally not. So the starchy vegetables would be, we've got sweet corn,
Sweet corn.
sweet potato,
Yep.
kumara, potato,
Yep.
beets,
Beetroot.
Look at that beautiful colour.
It's gorgeous.
Look at the colour. Are there any other starchy vegetables? That's mostly it.
Well, you've got your taros and your yams and all these things.
I've never cooked with any of those.
I tend not to. Well, actually, no, I haven't. But you, that's pretty much it. Obviously, you've got your different varieties of potatoes. But on the potatoes, and we could talk about this, if you have got issues managing blood sugar, then the general rule of the little chat baby potatoes won't raise your blood sugar levels as quickly as those big potatoes that, if you cut them in half with a knife and you've got the white starch on either side of your blade, that will typically raise your blood sugar levels a little bit quicker than those small waxy potatoes.
Because of the type of potato or the way you're cooking?
Because of the type of the potato, less starch.
Okay.
Mm.
Right. Yeah. So people.
And can I just say,
Yeah.
keep the skin on your potato.
Yeah.
Yeah, better for you.
Yeah. Well, there are whole dishes
I
made
could
of
talk
potato
about
skins.
vegetables
Potatoes,
forever.
yeah, I know. There's ways to cook these vegetables, another whole story. Okay, so the people who should look after starchy, be a little bit cautious about overdoing the starchy vegetables are people with insulin resistance, type 2 diabetes, or people who are trying to manage their weight.
Yeah.
Okay.
Absolutely.
What about this fella? Full of nutrients, beautiful, in season.
Delicious.
Avocado.
Yeah.
What about him?
Well, avocado, again, it's full of antioxidants, vitamin E. It's a good source of good fat. However, it is a fat, and do never think for a minute I'm demonizing fats at all. But if you are going back to, if you're conscious about your calories and your weight, then moderate your intake of that. I know that everyone loves these days to go out and have sourdough with avocado and feta, all the rest of it, but it's actually often laden with calories because cafes are putting half an avocado, particularly because they're inexpensive at the moment. So limit your intake. I would say that no more than that in a serve. No
so a
more.
quarter of an avocado.
Yeah. Yeah.
Do you know how many calories would be in a quarter of an avocado?
Not off the top of my head, Louise.
I think I
don't.
read your cheat sheet.
I
And
don't
I
know how
think
my
it's-
numbers go. Oof,
I think it's about 100 calories
in
in a quarter of an avocado.
Yeah, delicious and good for
really
you.
good for you.
But again, it just goes back to understand what you want food to do for you. Primarily, it has to be about good health. Primarily, and then if your weight is is affecting your health, you need to think about that too. So don't have too much.
And then we have to enjoy our food.
Yeah, my word, we do.
We do have to cook it well, and
I know what I haven't said. I've got to interrupt you here because this is really important. Vegetables are full of potassium, and potassium, when you have a lot of potassium in your diet, it helps to counter the effects of having a high sodium diet. It will help to reduce your blood pressure.
Mm-hmm.
So
Mm-hmm.
think about that too.
Mm-hmm.
And the fibre can help to reduce lower cholesterol.
It can.
You know all that. I don't know why I'm telling you that. You're the doctor.
Well, because it's not just you and I. We're having a conversation
So
for
make
some
sure you
others here.
If you've got high blood pressure and high cholesterol, nail your vegetables.
Yes. Now, how do we get all those vegetables in the day? What are some tips to get our 5 serves of veggie in? Because quite frankly, I can get to dinner and sometimes have hardly had a serve of veggie.
Yeah, and I know that's easy to do.
Yeah.
Okay, so some strategies are if you say you go out for breakfast and you're having poached eggs and you think you might have some bacon.
Or you're cooking them on the lovely stove.
Or
over
you're
here.
cooking on the beautiful
Yeah.
There's a stove. It's not my kitchen.
My stove, I'm cooking. My husband's cooking them actually.
Poached eggs. So instead of doing poached eggs and bacon, throw into the. I'll pull the poached eggs out of the pan, throw out the water, and quickly wilt a couple of handfuls of spinach.
Yeah.
I might saute some mushrooms in that, and I'll have the toast with the avocado. So straight away you've got 2 serves of vegetables that you've just nailed at breakfast
Yeah.
time. Then
I'll often do some asparagus with my eggs too.
Beautiful.
That's a beautiful combination.
That's beautiful.
Yeah.
And make sure you put a bit of lemon juice, a little bit of olive oil over the top of that. That's the bomb. If you typically would have, say, a muesli or a fruit and some yogurt for breakfast, then maybe you could make a green smoothie. I know that you do that. I certainly do that. Handful of spinach, handful of celery. I always put a bit of lemon in mine. Sometimes I put a bit of date in there if somebody's having it wants a bit of sweetness. Some pear, or you've got some kiwi fruit, and then drink that throughout the day. That's a great way of getting a couple of serves of vegetables. Nighttime, not so hard if you're cooking.
Mm-hmm.
If you're cooking for yourself, if you're not cooking for yourself, if you're going out, then often I'll order an extra side of salad or an extra side of vegetables. And then sometimes, if I want to nibble on a piece of cheese, I might have a bit of carrot with that. Even pick up. I know that this doesn't look that appeeling, but
No.
cut that
I've never
small. Never eaten raw broccoli?
No, I'm not going to do it on now either.
No, don't do it now. You'll end up with little bits of green in your teeth.
No.
But yeah, look, that's quite a nice little snack. I quite like raw vegetables with raw cashews and cheese
Yes.
combined.
Yes. And I guess
A
the
bit
old...
in at the same time.
I know, lovely combination. And I guess the celery, the snow peas, carrot would be fun, and raw asparagus with hummus dip or anything like that as a snack.
Yeah.
We'll talk about fibre on another conversation, I think, a whole conversation. I just wanted to comment that I think avocado has quite a lot of fibre in it.
Avocado,
Do you know?
avocado does have a lot of fibre.
Because
in
I
it,
used to think, I know we'll reserve the fibre conversation, but I used to think that a fibre would be you'd need a fibrous vegetable to have.
No, not
Look
at
how
all.
sad this asparagus
there's
thing.
Well, it's celery.
Asparagus. That does not looking too good either. It's looking really sad for asparagus.
This asparagus, though, is actually one of the real princes of food. There's so much good stuff in asparagus. It's probably one of the best and healthiest vegetables you
It's
can
cheap
have.
right now.
And it's cheap right now. And that leads us into another very important
Yeah.
conversation as I orchestrate with the asparagus. I know a lot of people say that it's expensive to eat healthily.
Yeah.
And yes, you do have to pay a bit more to get your fresh vegetables, but I think you have to get them done, nail them first. If you go without other things like the chips and the chocolate and thing, then maybe you're breaking even. But if you eat in season, and when you go to the greengrocer will probably have buckets of seasonal food on special, so you're saving a lot of money. Sometimes you buy in bulk. You can buy in bulk and get cheaper deals, but provided you eat in season, and don't be a slave to a recipe. Don't read a recipe and think, I want to make that, and then you find that it's winter and you can't get fresh asparagus, or the asparagus is coming from Mexico.
$10 a bunch.
Yeah, and it's coming all the way from Mexico. Just go and see what's in the stores and buy it on special.
And you can switch, can't you? So, for example, I did not know that pumpkin was less carbohydrate than sweet potato. So I could easily switch pumpkin for sweet potato in roasted. And in fact, I would do a whole, when I've got the oven on in a way to get more vegetable in through the week and make it a bit easier, I would do heaps and heaps of, say, onion and maybe eggplant and pumpkin, and then have it in the fridge so that you can just add it to salads and make it a bit more interesting.
Beautiful.
Sort of thing. So sort of just bulk cooking when you've got the oven on or whatever.
Well, when you're busy like you are and you've got kids and everything to look after, you do have to think about, well, probably should find out what your strategies are for getting your 5 serves of vegetables, because you do it, right?
Yes, mostly, generally, but I do, as I say, sometimes I might get to dinner and I've hardly made a dent in that. So I've got to make conscious effort really around lunchtime. So sushi, I love sushi stuff. I guess I'm talking about eating out a fair bit here, but if I was home, it's a lot easier if I prepare my food, and I'll often do multiple salads at the one time, so that I'm putting the greens in, I'm cutting all the veggies, I'm doing all of that sort of stuff in one lot, and then I might just change can of tuna, egg, whatever on the different things. So I do tend to batch a bit, batch stuff, and I do a green smoothie. So I'm really big on the green smoothie. So these are my ingredients for my favourite smoothie.
Okay, right. So what do we got?
So I would, I have a kiwi fruit. And then I would...
Very, very high in vitamin C.
Okay, yes. And not very high in calories, I don't think.
Not very high, no. This would give you the recommended amount of vitamin C a day.
One kiwi fruit?
Yeah.
Okay.
And when you cook vegetables, you do tend to lose a bit of vitamin C. So, it's important to have some fruit in the diet. There are some people who think you shouldn't have any fruit because it's got natural sugar and it's going to make you fat. Absolutely not. There have been incidents of people with diabetes presenting with scurvy because they had some idea that no fruit, they should be having no fruit. So just be aware of that. Things like strawberries, I know we're talking vegetables, but strawberries, kiwis, raspberries, berries, low in natural sugar, very high in vitamin C, very important.
We might even have a chat on fruit.
Okay.
Even though, more chats, I'm just like, because technically anything that fruit has a seed in it. So the whole thing about a tomato and a cucumber and a pumpkin being a fruit is unhelpful. What we're really referring to is fruits with lots of natural sugars. Because rhubarb, I consider that a fruit, but it's probably
a vegetable.
Yes, it's a vegetable, but I treat it like a fruit.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah,
but
so
you generally would have to add some sweetness to it. We had rhubarb last night; it was lovely.
Yes, my husband has bee hives, so we add our own. Yeah.
Ooh.
Yeah, I know. He's good at breakfast and honey. So so we add honey to the roasted rhubarb, and we grow rhubarb in the
I just stew it. The typical
Scottish way.
Chuck it in a pan.
So I would, in my typical green smoothie, I would shove a big handful of spinach. This is kind of English spinach, but you could use baby spinach.
Lovely.
I'd put
it all in.
Well, I'm not sure it's going to fit for the show.
Okay.
If it fits in the top, I'll put kiwi fruit.
Yum.
I'll cut this up, but I would put half a zucchini in.
Zucchini, gorgeous.
A quarter of an avocado.
Mm-hmm.
So, oh no, that's going to be too messy on the food.
And then some celery.
Some celery, yeah. Even the leaves and everything looking sad like that. Now you're going to tell me that my vegetables looking like this have lost some nutrient, but I'd rather eat them than not.
No, I agree.
Throw them out.
Don't throw them out. I'd probably snip those yellow ends off.
All right. Well, I'll do that.
Feed them. Do you have worms?
No, we've got chickens. I've got the whole shebang. I've got the chickens and the rhubarb.
I would take the ends off
and the bees
and give them to the chickens. But the rest of it, I'm with you 100%. Even if you've lost a little bit of nutrients, and it would be mainly vitamin C, you've still got the fibre. You've still got other good things in there. So don't throw things away unless they're rotten and they smell rotten. In which case.
What I do though, which I find makes it much easier for me, is and it's cheaper, so that when the avocados are cheap, or I buy a bucket of things, and I cut them all and prep them all at once, and I divide them into little reusable Snaplock bags, and I freeze a quarter of an avocado, I cut this up into pieces, and I put it in the bag, and I cut that up, put it in the bag, And I freeze portions of that and pop them in the freezer so that when I'm actually making this at home, I put that whole frozen thing in there,
That's a great idea.
shove the celery and the spinach and water up to about here and munch it. And so therefore it gets nice and cold too. I don't. This is my NutriBullet. What's this called? NutriBullet. And this is the most powerful thing. I can't believe how powerful it is. But I don't really want to put ice. I don't want to put ice in my NutriBullet. So I let it sort of just defrost a little bit. And because it's all those things have sugars in them, they don't freeze as hard as ice.
Yeah,
so it doesn't wreck my NutriBullet, and it makes
so
it cold
clever. I've
and creamy.
never frozen avocado.
Oh, it's
so
fine.
You've taught me something too. That's wonderful.
Peel, totally peel.
I usually use. That's such a good idea. I usually use a Vitamix, and you can chuck anything in it, but you can put ice.
Oh, this is a NutriBullet. What did I call this?
You use a NutriBullet, but I use a Vitamix,
Yeah.
and so you can put ice in it, and it blasts away everything. But I love the idea about putting things in the freezer.
Well, it just makes it's messy to cut up the avocado. It's messy to. I would never cut I would never do one.
And well, it's another way of using your avocado, right?
Yeah, I'm not wasting it yet.
And not wasting it. That's so clever.
All right. Well,
Thank
I'm
you
going to
for
make
that.
the new smoothie now. I'll be back in a minute.
Okay. You know, and just like that, she's made
just like that, we've made a smoothie.
Oh, well done.
Well, it's too noisy to have it on the video, so it's a very noisy machine. So that's what I do. And how many serves have we put? Because that was the whole lot. Because these are quite large. I often wouldn't have that much in one go.
Yeah, I would probably not have that in one go. But the nice thing about something like this, you could have one in the morning, and then you could have the rest of it
during
the
the
afternoon.
day. Yeah.
You know that 4 o'clock time when you know your blood sugar levels plummet, you want to go and eat a cake or.
Yes, and I think that you also recommend sometimes putting a few cashew nuts or something in that if you want to bulk it up a little.
You put avocado in that.
Yeah.
I would do either or. I normally do raw cashews, but while avocados are as inexpensive as they are right now, I would do.
It makes it really nice and smooth, creamy.
Well, the cashews do the same.
Right.
They make them creamy, and I think it just helps the fat just helps to keep it a little bit fresh. I always put lemon in mine.
Okay, I like lemon too, but I quite like this. See what
can
you
I
think.
taste? Am I allowed to taste?
See what you think. So I'm just trying to count up how many serves are in this. There's 1, 2, 3, 4 serves of veg in that. Is that right?
So you had 1 in your spinach.
Zucchini.
1 in your spinach, 1 in your zucchini.
Celery.
Then your celery, 1 in your celery.
Kiwi. Avo.
So forget the kiwi because it's fruit. That goes into your fruit category, and avo is your fat category. So you've got 3 serves of veggies in there. You've shared it, so you're getting 1.5.
Okay.
Not bad.
Not bad.
Because you've only got 3.5 to go.
Okay, I'll keep working on it. Anyway, thanks for joining us for today's kitchen conversation, and we'll be back with another episode soon.
Thanks, Louise.
Bye. Thanks, Judy.